you feel that your self-confidence fluctuates sometimes? Like one day you're on top of the world, you're feeling really good about yourself, really confident in yourself, really strong. And then the next day you're feeling inadequate and insecure and you don't really feel like showing up. Well, in this video, I want to explain to you why that happens and reassure you that there's nothing wrong with you. And also, I want to give you tools so you know what to do about it. Because once you understand why it's happening and that you can do something about it, then you feel less powerless about it and you start gaining a sense of control and mastery over your sense of confidence. By the way, if you're new here, my name is Alexa. I have a PhD in psychology and I talk about lots of things to do with psychology and neuroscience in the context of pressure. I work particularly with people who are under pressure in their careers or in an industry that puts pressure on them. I work a lot with actors. I've authored several books for actors to do with psychological topics that help them manage themselves. So let's get on to this issue of self-confidence, which is, of course, something that everybody who's under pressure has to deal with. And especially this problem that can occur where your self-confidence fluctuates, goes up, goes down. So why is it happening? Well, of course, there are many different factors at play. And if you're in a career that puts pressure on you, or if you're in an environment that's very pressurizing, then of course, that's one of the factors. But more than that, what is it about the way you are managing yourself that might be adding to the problem? So this is what I see with people who are under pressure. If your confidence fluctuates from day to day, then it means that your source of confidence comes from a neurotransmitter called serotonin instead of a neurotransmitter called dopamine. So what is the difference? Well, serotonin, we need these neurotransmitters. It's not like it's a bad kind of neurochemical, but the main source of your self-confidence comes from this particular neurochemical, that's where the fluctuations happens because serotonin is dependent on your status within a hierarchy. So you can imagine if you're working in an environment that's very hierarchical and you're trying to move up the ladder and you're trying to do well and you're trying to be seen to do particularly, to be making progress and so on, then you can see how that would give you a sense sometimes that you're doing particularly well, maybe better than others, and there's a sense of progress and there's a sense of forward momentum. And so on those days, you feel really secure and strong in yourself. And then you just see somebody getting something that you didn't get, or you see somebody advancing faster than you expected, or you see somebody who's trying to get your job, anything like that. And then your confidence drops. Or maybe you go to a family dinner and they talk about how your cousin has just got this incredibly massive promotion, right? And then your confidence drops. So if your confidence is mainly rooted in serotonin, then you're really fluctuating based on how others are doing. This is not within your control. So now I want to talk about what to do about it. And I've already hinted at it, which is that there's another neurotransmitter, another neurochemical that you can rely on for your sense of confidence that gives you that same boost and that same sense of I'm doing well and that same sense of momentum. But the difference is that it does not rely on others. It relies on how you are doing. So dopamine, although it can be problematic, it can be addictive. So I have talked in other videos about that side of things. But good dopamine that comes from effort and setting a goal and pursuing the goal and reaching the goal, and then setting another goal and so on, that dopamine does not depend on how others are doing. That dopamine, so good dopamine, depends on how you are doing. So in essence, you're not comparing yourself to how others are doing, you're comparing yourself to your past performance. So let's say that you're trying to build a skill in your current job. And, when you started learning that skill, you were really bad at it, of course. And now you're maybe like a few weeks in and you're really getting the hang of it. Well, if you use dopamine, if your self-confidence comes from dopamine, then you can look back to like a few weeks ago and say, wow, I'm doing amazingly well. And you will feel so confident when you think of that. Whereas if you're looking at your colleague who's maybe like way ahead of you because they maybe started a year ago in that skill, then you'll feel bad. And that's serotonin at work, right? So what you have to do to keep your confidence at a good, steady level day by day and have the sense of forward momentum is make your own game. Compare yourself not to others because that's not within your control, how others are doing, how others are being evaluated. But what is within your control is how you are evaluating yourself in relation to your past self. And I bet that you are so much more skilled and competent and doing so much better in so many ways. You have probably so much more discernment and self-knowledge now than you maybe did a year ago. I'm sure of it. And so that is where to root your self-confidence. By the way, I have prepared a free workbook you can download down below. It helps you reflect on this and so many other problems that people have with self-confidence, especially in pressure environments. I hope it will help a lot to reflect on these things. It gives you lots of tools. So it's really worth downloading and working your way through that. And I hope you have found this helpful, and I will see you again in the next video.